So I was having a conversation the other day with a colleague, and we were talking about how to facilitate change in therapy, because that's what it's really about, isn't it? It's, for the most part, a lot of what we're trying to do is to help facilitate change so that you get what it is that you wanted to get when you came in to the therapy room in the first place. And one of the things that he said to me within that conversation was that he doesn't really focus on trying to create change. And I get what he meant, so let me give you an example. Do you know all these kind of beliefs and stuff which kind of drive us, things that, programming that we kind of downloaded at a certain point in our life that was useful then, and then under the surface, out of our awareness, that's still kind of ticking us along and having us, run according to the rules of that program, but we don't really know about it because we've not really shone a light on it and looked at it. It's just the way we're living, things that we do, things that we accept, kind of fundamental beliefs that we don't question. It's all kind of under the surface, and by bringing that into explicit awareness, we then go, I get it. I see what's happening. And then the change kind of takes care of itself. And what I like about this idea is that sense of creating certain conditions where change takes care of itself, rather than focusing on the outcome that you want, focusing instead on what the conditions are in order to make the change. So I'll give you a really simple example. Let's say, for instance, you want to go to sleep. If you focus on going to sleep, so you lie there and you close your eyes really tightly and you go, come on, sleep, sleep, come on, sleep. And the harder you try, the more tense you get. And the more tense you get, the further away from sleep that you go from. It's something that's actually called hyperintention, that Viktor Frankl called it. And it's that thing where you're trying so hard that you end up getting the opposite of the thing that you want. So you could try and get to sleep just by urging yourself to sleep. I'm sure we've all done that from time to time. Or we could forget about sleep and instead focus on creating the conditions whereby sleep would just take care of itself. And I don't know, that might be that we take a little bit of time out just to reset ourselves, maybe a breathing exercise during the day or a meditation that makes sure that we take a relaxed body to bed. Or maybe we exercise during the day in order to tire ourselves out a little bit. So we take a tired, relaxed body to bed. And then maybe if we do that, the sleep will just take care of itself because we're tired, we're relaxed, and so we sleep. And I'm also reminded of a story that I often tell in this kind of context. A friend of mine had a sunflower, and the sunflower wouldn't grow. And so what the friend did is, rather than stand there urging the sunflower to grow or, try and get something that would pull it upright, or they moved the sunflower. They moved the sunflower from the shade to a sunny part of the garden. And once they'd done that and put those conditions in effect, it automatically just grew. The change just kind of happened automatically. And so I like this idea where, rather than focusing too heavily on the outcome, which can often get us further away from the outcome, we can get more focused on just creating the conditions by which, when those conditions are sorted, the change will just take care of itself. I don't know if you ever watched The Simpsons as much as I did when it was first on. But there used to be a salesperson on called Gil on The Simpsons, and he was desperate for a sale. He was desperate for a sale, so much so that the desperation really poured out of him. And he was so attached to the outcome that, of course, Gil never got a sale. Everyone in the office was going to get a sale before Gil. And he was always really unsuccessful in The Simpsons. He was like the unsuccessful salesperson on there. And it was simply because it was so obvious that he was really desperate for that particular outcome. And so again, that's another example, isn't it? If you're met by someone and you can see just how much they're trying to force a sale, that's probably a salesperson you're not going to buy from. But one who simply puts the right conditions in place to ensure that that change happens, that sale happens, then it's going to be much more likely, isn't it, that in the right conditions you're going to make the sale rather than when it's forced on you through a sense of desperation. And so I'm just throwing this up as an idea. Rather than focusing on that outcome and making sure that happens, whatever that change is, I wonder how it would feel different for you and maybe even more achievable. That if that change isn't coming in and of itself with your initial first pushes, I wonder what it'd be like for you just to change your angle and say, okay, what is the conditions I need to put in place so that change that I'm trying to force at the moment, that I can leave that and just feel confident that so long as I put these conditions in place, that change will take care of itself. I wonder what that would be like to change the angle and look at trying to put that right environment in place so that the change you want happens, whether it be sleep, whether it be financial success, whether it be overcoming a problem, whether it be losing weight, whatever it happens to be that's your goal. What would happen if you dropped the goal and focused instead on creating the conditions that would ensure that change, that goal, just kind of took care of itself because the conditions were right that enabled it to happen? So if you like this idea, then please feel free to share it amongst your friends. You can also go to psychotherapy.com to see all these on video, and you can subscribe to the podcast completely free wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to work with me, I'm Alun Parry. I'm from the Liverpool Psychotherapy practice, and you'll find us at liverpoolpsychotherapy.co.uk. So thanks for listening, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another one.